Hi, I'm Jenna Ciralli. I am the producer, lead actress, and co-writer of the short film Willow Creek Road, set in Montana.
I'm Sarah Grodsky. I am the writer, director, and producer of Bitches Tit.
Sarah, let's start with, you're from Austin.
I'm in school at Austin.
Yeah. Was this a UT project? Was this outside of UT?
It was. I'm actually an MFA screenwriter, and they have us make one short in our time at school just to see what it's like. And a lot of people did sort of just complete the assignment, but I can't half-ass things, and it was my one opportunity to make something, so I put a little extra into it, and I was really happy with how it turned out, so I wanted to kind of share it.
Tell us a bit about, is it Shelby and Mo are the two characters?
Yes, Shelby and Mo, and then there's also a Deb. There's almost always a Deb. So it's about two best friends who work at a bar, and they sort of have their timeouts in the bathroom to sort of connect and escape from the world, and they're sort of going through the same thing at the same time in a very different way as far as how they're handling it. So it's just sort of this 5-minute capsule of time in the bathroom of a really grody rock bar.
Can I ask where that rock bar is?
Oh, absolutely. It is a hole in the wall on Guadalupe in Austin, right near campus. And I actually wrote the piece for the bathroom. It's a very special bathroom, which you'll see.
Yeah, visually it's something a little different than most bathrooms.
Yes, very much so. And I leaned on that. I saw the bathroom and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen in here, but something has to.
Can I ask about where the title came from? And
kind of from the ether. I was trying to think of like somewhere that two really cool girls would work where they wouldn't necessarily be welcomed or comforted by the environment, especially as far as like the male gaze, which is what makes the bathroom all the more of a haven. But also it's sort of like a grungy, metal-y. Yeah, I wanted something that was sort of intentionally off-putting, and it just came, I don't know why, and I went with the first thing, which, you know.
Are you leaning towards writing comedy from here on out? Is that always going to be your focus?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not always. I'd like to think that I can diversify and write other things, but almost everything I do, even if I don't mean it to, has a little bit of comedy, dark comedy, sort of woven in. I can't escape it. So.
And then what's it mean to you to be at Women Texas Film Festival that harbors not only women in front of the camera, but obviously behind the camera and making a difference?
I'm really excited to be here. That's a lot of my writing is intentionally focused on women and intersectionality and sort of everyone getting their turn to be represented. And I feel like it's only the past couple years where the characters like we see in Bitches Tit, the sort of female mess-ups that was sort of introduced to us. I think Broad City does it really well, whereas like I grew up and I didn't feel represented really at all. I never saw young women who felt or looked like me, and then Broad City came along and I'm like, that's actually what my life is a lot more like. So I definitely use that as inspiration, but yeah, looking at women in different ways than wives, mothers, girlfriends, not that there's anything wrong with being any of those things, but yeah, just sort of like the depth and breadth of experience.
Very cool. We'll dive into Jenna's film, and then I'll kind of throw some fun questions at both of y'all here in a minute.
Cool.
So, Montana, first of all, let's start with where's Willow Creek shot? How did you guys find that farm and the whole atmosphere?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we got a Big Sky grant from the Montana Film Office, so that was a kind of initial step to kind of having this identity other than the story in terms of assistance to shoot there. And I was a little selfish in that I wanted to be in a place where I was born and where I loved visiting growing up. I'm a New York City-based filmmaker, so I've been in New York 12 years and I wanted to go home essentially. So we shot in the Paradise Valley and the Gallatin Valley, where a lot of Redford films are shot, like River Runs Through It and The Horse Whisperer, and it really has that kind of timeless Western, larger-than-life aesthetic. It gives you everything. Our director said Montana just gives it to you, and
allows you for those beautiful shots. One of the things I noticed is the long lens shots you guys had. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hats off to our DP Sheldon Chow and director Francesca Mirabella. They studied John Ford films and Terrence Malick, of course. So those were the influences. And then to answer your question specifically about that house, a man named Ice Fox owned that house in the Paradise Valley, and I don't know how we scouted it, but we found it, and it basically was a meth house, and in total disarray. Kind of like how you found your bathroom, we found our house, right, through its grit and its ability to be a character as well. And feces, bent heroin spoons, dead rats, I mean, you name it, was just kind of strewn throughout this place. So it was kind of this perfect setting for a woman. Our film deals with myself as the protagonist, and then another mom who's kind of neglectful, who's not home. And just to have this place where you kind of don't feel totally at ease. I think there's some writing on the wall that says "Leave my house" at some point in the film, and actual children were writing on the walls and wrote that. It just was a house of ill repute. It was so gross. And so what we were able to do is then bring production design in and add in a layer of love and give it its complexity. So you're experiencing a household that doesn't feel quite right, but there's also the warmth and the love of that actually does exist in this family at the same time. So.
And then Ruth's character takes in 2 kids, speaking of children. Can you talk a bit about, working with those 2 actors and the process of bringing kids into that and new face of the environment?
Yeah. So my character is a lonely Montana ranch hand who's very isolated, and she discovers these 2 kids by the side of the road and gets caught up in this adventure with them for the day. Her back pocket secret is that she's been unable to have kids herself, so she kind of has this fantasy of motherhood until the real mom comes home. The 2 actors we found were exceptional. I think Lily in particular, the girl, she was so confident and precocious, where my character's more awkward. So there's a role reversal where she kind of becomes the adult oftentimes. And it's hard to find kid actors anywhere, particularly in Montana. There's not a lot of people, so I think we really lucked out. Montana's all about resources and friends of friends wanting to help you. And I'm sure Texas is similar. So we just got referred through friends of friends to find these kids, and when we found them, we knew they were right, and they were great to work with. I really felt with the young girl in particular that she was the caretaker of me, and it was so deeply moving. So all I had to really do is kind of let the camera roll and be affected by her. She was so confident.
And similar question that I had for Sarah, what's it mean to you to be in this particular film festival that showcases women?
Yeah, it means a lot. We had a Filmmakers panel yesterday that John and he kind of helped guide, and it was just so inspiring to be in a circle of women, and there's some men there too, a couple men, where it was about sharing resources and sharing tips to be successful. There was not a sense of I have to look out for my own film, or there's some kind of competition. There was a real sense of we rise together, and knowledge is power, and when I share my knowledge, then you guys are better, and when you share your knowledge, then I'm better.
And this question's to both of you guys, but when you were in the process as writers, when you got to the set, when did you realize, okay, my work is going to be kind of completed? I can see it coming to life. Was there a moment on set that you had that?
Well, because of that house, we had to stall production because we thought some of our crew members came down with the hantavirus. So they had to be sent to the hospital in Bozeman, Montana. So there were many glitches along the way. And I think filmmaking is like moving furniture backwards upstairs, and it's always hard, and it never feels insurmountable to me. And that's why I love it, because I love a good challenge. So it never felt like we were quite there, but to be on set and to be in Montana and just to kind of bathe in the world of a character as an actor was delicious.
My background is in theater. So I was an actor for several years, and I did a lot of writing, directing, producing my own work. And pre-production felt very much like that part of the process that I was very used to. And then it's getting on set. And the main thing about being on set was the smell. We did our best. we gave the bathroom a good scrub down before we started shooting. But and my actresses were fearless. They were like, "We can really pee. We'll put our faces right in the toilet." I'm like, you don't have to do that. But yeah, I think for me, never having directed before, I was very confident in the script and in my actors who were also theater actors, so we rehearsed a ton. But all of a sudden being on set and having our little village set up and being like, oh, it's me, I'm the boss, I'm in charge. That was like kind of the real moment for me. And then afterwards, a lot of my crew were like, that was really fun. We enjoyed that. And I know I've been on crew and that's not always the feeling. So I was proud of that. That was probably like the biggest moment that solidified it for me. Yeah. That everyone had a good time.
Very nice. Well, thank you guys for bringing your shorts here. I can't wait to see what people's reactions are. Today is kind of the big day. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.